You don't need new techniques. You need to unlock the hidden fluid that rebuilds you from the inside out. While the world chases after more formulas, more stimulation, more methods to heal inner chaos, there's a quiet movement taking place inside your body, and you were never taught how to feel it. This movement makes no sound. It doesn't show up on medical tests, but it's what can redefine your mental state, your vital energy, and even your spiritual clarity. A translucent liquid, filled with awareness, pulses at the center of your spine, and most people will go through their entire lives without even realizing it's there. And when this flow stops, symptoms show up that many treat as normal. Brain fog, unexplained exhaustion, insomnia, emotional heaviness with no clear reason. But the problem isn't out there. It lies at the base of your own body, where everything should begin. There's a kind of hidden heart at the center of your pelvis, a subtle engine that pushes this light-filled fluid up to the top of your head. And when this inner tide rises, something shifts. Thoughts become clearer, the body feels lighter, emotions begin to settle. This isn't a metaphor, it's forgotten biology, blended with ancient wisdom that always knew where the turning point was. If you've learned how to breathe, but never learned how to guide this river that lives inside you, maybe you've only been breathing halfway. This video will show you how to restore that essential pulse and activate a healing path that doesn't depend on any guru or miracle technique, only on awareness. You'll understand why the sacrum is called that, and why the key to your energy isn't in the mind, but hidden in a place science is just beginning to explore, and that the ancients called the gate of life. The region that starts this subtle movement is not just structural, it's functional, energetic, and most of all, awakening. When activated correctly, it triggers an upward flow that rises through the spine like a silent tide, carrying renewal impulses throughout the whole system. This tide doesn't just release tension, it reorganizes, it clears metabolic waste, it restores balance between body and mind without requiring advanced practice, physical effort, or intense focus. For centuries, initiates in esoteric schools and inner alchemy traditions knew of this force. They called it the subtle elixir, the secret wine that rises from the base and nourishes the higher centers. Today, what once was seen as a metaphor is starting to gain recognition in neurological studies. A clear, pulsating fluid that responds to breathing and carries regulatory messages throughout the central nervous system. But the key lies in how it begins. Everything starts from a point beneath the mind, a place few people access consciously, but that holds the reset button for your vitality. When this flow is awakened, something shifts instantly. Breathing deepens. The mind grows quiet, and the body enters a state of natural reorganization. And this is not suggestion or placebo, it's living biology, activated by subtle awareness. You'll discover that this fluid can be guided, and that within it lies the power to clear trauma, restore focus, and dissolve emotional blocks where no technique has ever reached. You don't have to believe, you just have to feel. And feeling will be inevitable. Because when this river moves, it doesn't ask for permission, it transforms. You'll learn how to guide this inner movement, even if you've never done any kind of energy practice before. The protocol is simple, fast, and quiet, but the impact is visceral. It all begins when you learn to let this liquid light rise. In the forgotten manuscripts of alchemy, there was a maxim: what rises, purifies. What descends, anchors. This phrase wasn't about external elements, but about the human body itself as a sacred laboratory. For those who practiced inner transmutation, true gold wasn't metal. It was the subtle fluid flowing between the poles of the self. the base and the crown, earth and sky. The spine was seen as a channel of vibrational refinement, where the raw would turn into essence. At the heart of this process was the most overlooked element of the modern body, the fluid that moves without muscles, without veins, without commands, guided only by intention. They called it liquid spirit, and they believed its rise would awaken dormant chambers in the mind, sharpen perception, and cleanse invisible, energetic impurities. The practice was silent, internal, secret. It wasn't taught publicly. It was passed on through gestures, presence, and vibration, from master to disciple. The initiates knew that if the body wasn't listening, the movement would never happen. That's why the journey didn't begin in the mind. It began in the body, feeling before understanding, breathing before knowing. The texts of the Vedanta lineage described this rising as the flow of subtle prana, moving through the central channels of the spine and touching the inner lotus, where awareness awakens. But this was not a vague, mystical journey. It was refined spiritual physiology, guided by breath, awareness, and micro-adjustments from within. The body was seen as a tool for refining the soul, and the sacrum as the crucible where everything began to dissolve. It was there that the weight of the world would sink, and the impulse of light would be born. This is not a story about doctrines. It's a reconstruction of what has always been alive within you. Today, buried under too much stimulation, forgetfulness, and chronic tension, this knowledge pulses, trying to rise again, not to be understood, but to be reawakened. What you were about to learn wasn't invented, it was remembered. In 2019, researchers at the Yale School of Medicine conducted a groundbreaking study that changed how we understand the human brain. Using high-precision magnetic resonance imaging, they discovered that cerebrospinal fluid, the clear liquid surrounding the brain and spinal cord, moves in rhythmic waves, synchronized with slow, deep breathing. With each long exhale, an inner tide rises. But the most surprising part wasn't the movement, it was the effect. These waves are responsible for clearing toxic waste from the central nervous system, like beta-amyloid, the protein linked to Alzheimer's disease. In other words, slow breathing doesn't just relax you, it activates an internal brain self-cleaning system. Science is only beginning to understand what ancient texts already suggested. The body holds a liquid intelligence that responds to breath and promotes deep states of regeneration. Research led by Mauro Zapatera from Harvard Medical School suggests that cerebrospinal fluid is not only nourishing, but also informational, capable of influencing emotional, neurochemical, and perceptual states. He calls it the messenger of consciousness. As it flows continuously from the base to the skull, this liquid stimulates glands like the pineal and the pituitary, harmonizing the neuroendocrine system. More than just a biological substance, it appears to act as a bridge between the nervous system and higher states of awareness. When you learn to breathe with awareness and activate the pulse of the sacrum, you access this hidden system of cleansing, balance, and expansion. Science is still searching for names, but the body, when properly stimulated, already knows exactly what to do. And that's what you're about to explore next. How to move with the tide that has always been trying to heal you. There is no inner revolution without returning to the origin. And the origin is the point where everything begins to rise. To reactivate the flow of liquid light, you don't need to understand, you need to feel. This practice is for the body, not the mind. It is the body that clears the path for the sacred fluid to resume its upward course and awaken the regenerative intelligence dormant in your cells. The process begins lying down, preferably on a firm surface. Eyes closed. your attention resting gently on the coccyx. There, in silence, the first step begins. Listening. Do not force anything. Just notice. The base of the spine holds a nearly imperceptible pulse, and it only reveals itself when the whole body surrenders to stillness. Then, sync with your breath. Inhale for 5 seconds, hold for 5 seconds, exhale for 5 seconds. This is the 5-5-5 rhythm, a breathing code that opens the neuroquantum frequency of vibrational reprogramming. As your breathing settles, add a micro-action. Gently contract the perineum muscles, then release. Contract, release. This small, almost invisible gesture activates the sacral pacemaker, the biomechanical center that propels cerebrospinal fluid. There is no strain, no tension. The key is rhythm. This subtle contraction acts like a vibrational pump, sending waves of the inner elixir upward, in sync with your breath. With each full cycle, a new wave moves through your spine. And the longer you remain in this field, the clearer the tide becomes. It is at this point that the body begins to awaken ancestral memories. New sensations arise, a lightness in the skull, a warmth at the base, a vibration in the center of the chest. Do not resist. Your system is returning to its original design. And this is only the beginning. As you remain in this field of breath and microcontraction, something starts to emerge. Not as a vision, not as a thought, but as a sensation that cannot be named, only experienced. The fluid begins to rise. It does not rise in a rush. It rises with awareness, and wherever it flows, it cleanses. It is at this moment that you activate the channel of internal translation, an invisible vertical line connecting the sacrum to the occipital bone. The entire body becomes a conductor, and you realize that you're no longer pushing anything. You are allowing. Now, shift your attention to the nape of your neck, to the point where the spine touches the base of the skull. There, imagine a cavity slowly opening like a receptive dome. This is the cerebral gate of integration, where the fluid enters to bathe the higher centers. It's at this point that the mind begins to lose control, and that's a gift. Because when the mind quiets down, the body speaks, and it speaks in tides, in pulses, in codes. You begin to feel the path the elixir travels, from the base to the top, from instinct to vision, from chaos to harmony. To anchor this state, an image will become your ally. Visualize a golden thread rising from the center of your sacrum and moving up the spine like a line of liquid light. It passes through the vertebrae, flows through the heart, reaches the throat, and rests at the center of your head. This visualization is not fantasy. It's a vibrational command that activates forgotten pathways in the nervous system and creates synchronicity between the physical and subtle bodies. If thoughts come, let them drift like smoke. The focus isn't on them. The focus is on the thread. It is the map. It is the path back to the original architecture of your being. You are now guiding, for the first time with full awareness, the river that rebuilds everything. Now that the path has been mapped, the final step is to turn this process into a ritual, not as an obligation, but as a homecoming. You don't need an altar or complete silence or hours of free time. You need 7 minutes. 7 minutes a day to activate the flow and remind your system that it knows how to reorganize itself. The full practice includes 3 cycles of 5-5-5 breathing with conscious microcontraction, followed by 2 minutes of complete silence, just feeling the internal tide rise. During this silence, keep the image of the golden thread alive, not as a visual effort, but as a frequency anchor. This thread is the channel between the origin and the crown, between the biological and the vibrational. At the end, take 3 deep breaths and gently bring your awareness back to the physical body. Notice your mental state. Notice the weight of your body. Notice your breath. There will almost always be a shift, perhaps subtle, perhaps intense, but it will be there. And the more you repeat it, the stronger the path becomes. Because the body is an instrument of intelligent repetition. It responds to consistency with release, to intention with unlocking, to presence with healing. This practice is not just another technique, it's vibrational reprogramming. It doesn't act on the surface of symptoms. It reaches the very structure that holds your patterns in place and begins to rewrite them from the inside out. Over time, you'll notice your focus sharpens, your emotional field slows down, your energy levels renew even before breakfast. You stop searching outside and begin to cultivate within. 7 minutes a day. Breath, micro-movement, presence, and the golden thread. It's not a ritual of escape. It's a return to the place where everything began and where your body has always been trying to lead you back to. But not everyone hears when the body whispers. It took Caleb nearly a decade to realize this. 36 years old, a stable life, and an invisible feeling of always being out of alignment with himself. He couldn't explain it. It was as if time moved over him without ever touching him on the inside. Tasks got done, his routine worked, but there was a heaviness no medical test could detect. He tried psychotherapy, he tried guided meditation, he tried trendy breathing techniques. In all of them, he felt like an observer, never truly present, until the day he found a handwritten phrase in an old notebook he didn't even remember owning. The tide doesn't rise when you think. It rises when you listen. It felt like a code. He began to research this so-called tide. He came across some simple, direct content, nothing flashy, but filled with something the others lacked. Truth. It spoke of a fluid, of a pulse, of a point at the base of the spine where everything begins. That night, Caleb turned off the lights, lay down on the living room floor, and gave it a try. 5-5-5 breathing, gentle contractions, focus on the coccyx. His body resisted at first, but by the 4th cycle, something different happened. It wasn't a shiver. It wasn't an emotion. It was a shift, as if a forgotten part of him had started to rise, silent, steady, luminous. Caleb didn't understand, but he didn't try to understand. He just cried, not from pain, not from sadness. He cried like someone cleansing, like someone emptying out, like someone making space to exist fully again. In the days that followed, he noticed he no longer needed to escape silence. His focus returned, his body rested. The world stopped feeling so heavy, and it all started in the most overlooked place within himself, a bone he had never noticed, a pulse no one had ever taught him about, a river that had always been trying to rise. At some point, doubt will show up, and it usually comes disguised as rational thought. Am I doing this right? Why haven't I felt anything yet? What if this doesn't work for me? That is the first real obstacle, not technical, but vibrational. It's impatient expectation sabotaging the body's intelligence, because the body doesn't respond to anxiety. It responds to silent repetition. The inner tide doesn't move under pressure. It rises through surrender. And that surrender is not passive. It is active in listening, in consistency, in presence. It's common for practitioners to look for signs, tremors, chills, visions, but the real signs are much subtler. They're unexpected pauses in your stream of thoughts. They're nights of sleep that, suddenly, require no effort. It's a clarity that enters where once there was only noise. The most common mistake is expecting spectacle when the real miracle is structure. To shift this mental trap, anchor yourself in the most essential principle of the practice. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. One well-executed breath cycle in silence and full surrender is worth more than 20 minutes of tense expectation. If your body didn't respond today, it's still listening, and when it's ready, it will release. Not because you forced it, but because you allowed it. The energy you moved, even if imperceptible, has already shifted your field. It has already activated codes. It has already reopened pathways. Your role is not to control the process. It is to create the space for it to unfold, and to trust that this river, even if invisible, always knows the way back. If this content moved something inside you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. In the comments, write liquid intelligence, awakened in my sacrum. That way, I'll know you felt the inner call of this ancestral tide. Share this video with someone who needs to remember that the body is also a temple, also a code, also a portal. Click on the screen to watch another transformational video and continue this vibrational journey. And remember, when the liquid light rises through the sacrum, it doesn't just heal, it rewrites who you are.